Our Sunrise Smart Start happening today. 32-year-old Rakeem Lane in court this morning in connection to a fatal shooting on Chili Avenue in Rochester on April 9th. Javon Sampson was shot and hospitalized, and he died almost 2 weeks later. Lane is charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon.
70-year-old Alonzo Parator is due in court this morning. The Greece school bus monitor charged with criminal obstruction of breathing and endangering the welfare of a child. This after a 7-year-old's parents reported the bus monitor choked their son. Both of the charges here are misdemeanors.
And new this morning, shortly after 10 last night, a 65-year-old Rochester man was robbed at gunpoint on the corner of Burke Terrace and Burr Street. Police say he was approached by an unknown man with a firearm demanding his keys. The suspect fled the scene in the man's car. The victim was not injured and the vehicle has not been recovered as police continue their investigation.
All right, getting ready to have a look at our morning forecast with James Gilbert. James, Monday was beautiful by just about all accounts.
Yeah.
And looking for a repeat on this Tuesday.
Yeah, I heard a lot of lawnmowers going,
Yes.
I think, because people enjoyed their Saturday. And then Sunday we had the rain, so they figured, okay, Monday, I guess I'll finally get to that yard work. I think we do have the chance for a couple of lawnmowers to go for today, then an isolated shower for tomorrow. But look at those numbers, upper 80s to near 90. So it's going to be a stretch where we want to make sure we stay hydrated, listen to our body, and then listen for storms as well, especially as we get into Thursday. We'll take a glance at the 8-day forecast and do a bus stop forecast at the end of the show. Mark?
All right, James, thank you. I do want to point out in our sunrise traffic there is an accident, Allens Creek Road. This is between 590 and Clover Street, and there is construction as well. No accidents to report on 390, 490, or 590 at this hour, again, apart from that incident by Allens Creek.
Well, Regents exams beginning this week for many students.
That includes students in the Rochester City School District. Some parents, however, say the stress of recent gun violence is affecting their students' ability to remain focused. Erica Koss spoke to one parent and joins us live with more on this. Erica, good morning.
Good morning. Well, last week we lost a 16-year-old to gun violence, and just a few days ago a 17-year-old as well, both students in the Rochester City School District. And as you mentioned, I did speak to a parent who says this is weighing a lot on her kids and many others as they study for the Regents exams. Heather Feynman says she has 5 kids, 2 teenagers attending School of the Arts. She says the building has been seeing its own set of struggles and fights lately. She says the violence is definitely getting out of hand, and her plea to the city now is to try to put an end to this by turning to compassion instead of retaliation.
My daughter did not go to school today. She woke up with a headache, and it is not an environment to go to. If I had a headache when I was 16 years old, I'd pop ibuprofen, go to school, and it would go away. But the stress of the environment at school is so intense, it would just amplify her headache. We have to start with caring for each other, and that has to be our culture. We've lost a lot of that. We've become numb to things, and it's not healthy for any of us.
The superintendent says in a statement released on Monday, she is distressed, hurt, and angry. She says these students are mourning at a time where they should be celebrating prom and graduation. And she's asking the community to come together in these times to protect our children from these senseless acts. In Rochester, Erica Koss, News 8.
Erica, thank you. Rochester police have identified Saturday's homicide victim as 17-year-old Jeremiah Baker. Well, in national news, we are following this closely. Many eyes on the Federal Reserve this week.
As early as tomorrow, the Fed is expected to announce higher interest rates to combat rising inflation. DC's Raquel Martin has more.
as inflation reaches a 40-year high. This week, the Federal Reserve is poised to announce new steps to try and slow the price surge crippling low-income Americans.
They have made this a priority.
Monday, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the Biden administration is watching closely to see how the Fed responds.
They have the strongest tools.
Already, Wall Street is bracing for a more aggressive interest rate spike. Stocks plunged Friday after last month's inflation rates rebounded.
Does the president think the Fed is running the risk of hiking rates too quickly?
That the Federal Reserve needs to have their independence.
In the meantime, the White House insists it's doing everything in its power to try and ease the financial pain on Americans, but blames record gas prices on the war in Ukraine.
But the way that we see this is that the American people are well positioned to face these challenges because of the economic historic gains that we have made.
Republicans see things differently.
Runaway inflation has pushed workers and families to the breaking point.
Monday, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell railed against the administration's economic policies he says are at the root of the problem.
It was the Democrats' choice to insist on flooding the economy with trillions of dollars in liberal spending last spring. And now Democrats' decision is literally driving them off a cliff.
And with inflation still sky high, many Republicans and a growing number of economists say they're concerned the Fed could go overboard by raising interest rates too high too fast.
All right, let's stay in Washington. The second congressional hearing about the January 6th attack on the Capitol was held yesterday. The House Select Committee showing new testimony indicating that former President Trump was repeatedly told his claims of election fraud were not true. The committee also says the Trump campaign knowingly misled donors, soliciting tens of millions of dollars for an election defense fund. Instead, the committee says most of that money went to the former president's political organization.
The big lie was also a big ripoff.
I didn't think what was happening was necessarily honest or professional at that point in time.
Well, former campaign manager Bill Stepien also testifying. He says competing camps were formed after the election. He called his camp Team Normal, saying the others pushed conspiracy theories. The committee is expected to hold at least 5 more hearings. The next is coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
And the latest on the Rochester Police Accountability Board, the board that oversees the PAB voting in a new chairman. Larry Knox, now the new leader following the resignation of Shawnee Wilson earlier this month. Knox was first appointed to the board back on May 5th by City Council. Because his role with PAB has just begun, Dr. Ricky Harvey argued a board member with more experience should take on the role, but other board members supported Knox.
I would like to see somebody who has served the board, who has the scars and channeled through this process to get us here.
I think out of anyone here is probably the best choice and the most effective person.
Get ready for more policy recommendations and then get ready for outreach to the community.
Per city law, the vice chair of any agency is expected to assume all leadership roles when the head of the board steps down. But in PAB's case, Vice Chairwoman Danielle Tucker said she's unable to fulfill this position, prompting this vote. And happening in New York yesterday, the state expanded legal protections for people seeking and providing abortions. The new legislation signed by Governor Kathy Hochul, all in anticipation of the U.S. Supreme Court potentially overturning Roe v. Wade, which established a constitutional right to abortion. That ruling is expected as early as this week. One of Hochul's new laws protects providers, another protects the rights of people seeking an abortion.
Well, here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. Game 5 of the NBA Finals wrapping up late last night in California. The Warriors taking down the Celtics 104-94. Andrew Wiggins had 26 points for the Warriors, who now claim a 3-2 lead in the series. The Celtics must win Game 6 in Boston to stay alive, or the Warriors will capture another NBA title.
Competitive series there.
Yeah, there's Wiggins right there, the exclamation point on that one. Good stuff in the NBA. Good stuff for folks that want to get out and about on this Tuesday, James.
Yeah, you could play basketball outside today, certainly with this great forecast. Bus stop forecast, maybe a slight chill this morning, but not to worry. Warms up real nicely through the 60s and eventually into the mid to upper 70s this afternoon. A classic June day. It is Flag Day, the 14th of June, and it's going to be a warm one, certainly. But we've got hot, humid weather Wednesday, Thursday. Watching for storms in there as well.
All right, James, thank you. And thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update is coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.